Good evening to everyone. Welcome to day 2 of People Development and Environment. Today we will be talking regarding natural and energy resources such as solar, wild, soil, hydro, geothermal, biomass, nuclear, and forest. So we'll just try to have a glimpse of all this as we move forward. And other than that, we would be also talking about natural hazards, the disaster, and how we can try to mitigate and reduce the impact of these disasters. Right? Again, we can categorize into natural and man-made disaster, and ways and means. We'll see how and what are the various initiatives which government has taken. And apart from that, we will talk regarding the Environmental Protection Act. This particular section, which you can see on the screen, that is the third part. This, again, is a very important topic. In yesterday's class, we had discussed how Millennial Development Goal and we had talked upon Sustainable Development Goal, MSG and SSG. That is very important. Similarly, apart from the various pollution which we have studied yesterday, a major, I would like you to pay attention towards this particular section, the last one. The Environmental Protection Act, National Plan for Climate Change, various kinds of agreements. We have Montreal, we have Rio, we have Convention for Biodiversity, especially in that also Kyoto Protocol, Paris Agreement, and International Solar Alliance. So ideally, which I see a pattern over here is they tend to ask one or two questions from this particular section. So I will try to make sure that you're very clear regarding this particular topic, because other than that, when we talk about pollution and hazard, something you have your general knowledge also there. But here we need to understand when it took place, the agreement, what were the major objectives, why we have done that. So in examination point of view, we need to remember that, okay? A quick recap towards what we have done yesterday. So yesterday, I'm just sharing in a very brief manner. We had talked regarding the components of environment, wherein we have focused on two, biotic factors and abiotic. Biotic factors we were referring towards living or non-living. Can anyone answer quickly? Biotic. Living, very good. Living organisms, we will try to categorize into that. And abiotic, we have focused like air, light, temperature, and everything, non-biotic. Similarly, we have further divided biotic into producers, consumers, and decomposers. Producers who can prepare their very own food. We have talked upon photosynthesis, right? Similarly, consumers are dependent on producers, and then we have algae, bacteria, in form of decomposers. Okay. Apart from that, we had talked regarding sustainability as a concept in Sustainable Development Goal also. So herein we are trying to make sure that the resources are there, it has been used wisely so that upcoming generation also has that, right? So here we had talked upon Millennial Development Goals, which were 8 goals, right? And 191 UN members, they have come together, the time duration hearing, and these were the 8. So you'll try to remember the name, not exact word, but yes, say for example, education, there was poverty, there was maternal health, mortality. So just try to recall, and if you can recall in sequence, that will be best. But usually we don't get like goal 8 or goal, they specify the particular name, but still if you can, it will be an edge. Okay. Other than that, post to it, very important, we have discussed regarding Sustainable Development Goals. The time period was again 2015-2030, which we also called as 2030 Agenda, right? So in this, we had talked upon these various 17 goals, which we had to make sure that is being achieved, okay? Transition here, we have seen how the major differences. So whenever you are studying, please make sure you have this particular tabular comparison, which we have discussed yesterday. It is very clear to you. Okay, so there's a very good probability there might be question from this particular segment. So make sure this particular chart, if you try to recall and remember, very basic, we'll make sure that you score higher. Okay. Post to that, we have discussed few questions, and then we had started with pollution. right? Very basic. We have started with biotech aid, biodegradable, which are easy, to recycle, eco-friendly. And when we have discussed about non-biodegradable, then air pollution. Make sure you are well versed with this particular slide. What are the various kinds of pollutants which are there? What are the major sources, where we are getting it from, and the health effects of it? So yesterday, as we were walking through it, we have saw some questions also, right? How it can again be framed, which question can be asked. So make sure in air pollution you are well versed with it. Then we have discussed regarding smog, right? And water pollution, again, the basic health problems, what can be there, right? Major pollutants, what is there. So similarly, noise also, we have tried to understand the basic decibel, how much idle it should be, right? And the basic sources or pollutants, how it can affect the mental health and the physical well-being. Then later on, we had discussed regarding e-waste and solid waste, right? Electronic waste and solid waste. And we have tried to categorize. So in this particular section here, you will get a overall view, what type of waste, which is the source. So there are questions coming from this particular section also. Okay, so without any further ado, let's just jump into day 2 of people development and environment. So these three major sections we would be covering today. The first one here is when we talk upon continuing with that of pollution, when we talk upon soil pollution, again, as we had discussed regarding, when I'm mixing any, there is hazardous or something which is unwanted objects have been found in water, or when I'm talking about air. So similarly here we have soil in which the quality is degraded as such, right? So again, the major sources where it is being coming from can be because of agriculture sources, basically because of fertilizers and pesticides. That is the major reason. And then we have atmospheric sources also, which may lead to soil pollution, right? And definitely, as we had discussed in the types of wastage also, we have industrial and urban sources which led towards degradation in the soil quality. And then we have sometime, where yesterday we were discussing regarding the oil spillage or the liquid spillage that can be there. And because of that, the quality of soil can reduce, right? So here, major health impacts, again, it's a threat towards the biodiversity. There's a loss of fertility as such. Now, here, when we talk upon the health impact, so short term, people may face headache, nausea, vomiting, cough, right? And long term, again, it may lead to depression, or, when we talk about kidney and liver, it can directly, indirectly affect that. Okay. Now here, when we talk upon pollution control legislations in India, we have these few acts. Now, what you do whenever you are making notes for people environment, we have various acts, right? As we had discussed here also, we will be talking about these acts. So when was Rio Summit happened, Paris Agreement? So it's my humble request, whenever you all are making notes, please start writing down one place, right? Maybe on the backside or one particular page, leave that and only write the year, which year it happened. Say, for example, here, very basic Indian Forest Act 1927, which may or may not be asked, but we have to know, right? Wildlife Protection Act, the Water Preservation and Control of Pollution, the Air Environmental Protection Act, it is there in your syllabus. So definitely a question can be framed from it. So make sure that, because again, when you are yesterday, as we discussed, that when we are trying to eliminate our options, so in this particular case, maybe, when they'll give you, when was Environmental Protection Act, 1990, 1986, 1987, 1980. So again, in that particular sense, we need to know that. So once, what you do is write down all these years, and then whenever you're making your final notes or whenever before the exam, just put it in a synchronized manner, either go with ascending or descending order, right? So make sure these year basic, when is Environment Day celebrated, and these agreements, when it took place, when this thing got, here in millennial development goal and sustainable development goal also, therein also we have saw the time period 15 to 30, because of that 2030 agenda is being called. So make sure you are well versed with the numbers, because there we need to have the exact number of it. I hope I'm clear, everyone. And I all are making notes also, I believe, post completion or during the class. I hope you all are making one. Yes, no, maybe. Yes, no. Are we making notes?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Okay, perfect. It's my humble request. Don't write anything, but to the point, whichever you want, as more number of times you will be seeing it, it will be easy for you to recall. Okay, when we talk about in the next section regarding disaster, so again, disaster can be called as a serious disruption of the functioning of a community and the resources. Now, again, see here we are having Disaster Management Act 2005. So, jahan par bhi you are mentioning all these here, please add this also. Disaster Management Act 2005, which says that catastrophic. Now, what does catastrophic mean, anyone? Whenever we use disaster word, we always use catastrophic. What does
A
it mean?
danger. A danger.
Okay, danger, yes. Catastrophic is again massacre. It will not just affect one person, but again, when we are talking about a word called disaster, it will be affecting the mass audience. And again, as sir said, it would be risky and it will be having adverse impact. So it is catastrophic mishap, calamity, or grave occurrence in any area. Again, we can categorize into two parts: natural or man-made causes can be there. Now, if you remember Bhopal gas tragedy, now again, that was a man-made disaster, right? Negligence with respect to substantial loss. It can again degradation of environment if it is there. Now, exposure to hazards, condition of vulnerability that are present, measures to reduce or cope up with the potential negative. Now, here when we try to see that impacts everyone differently, it can be at an individual level also. It is at the physical, again, the property. Now, somewhere when we hear about another region, the cyclone happen or there's flood happening. So it's not just the mental, but the physical infrastructure that also go for a toss, right? Human infrastructure, yes, loss of life is there. Governance, again, the administrative problems, how we'll make sure that, they are getting the resources on the point. And then we have social, worst hit for women, children, old age. And again, when we see these migration happening, any kind of calamity happening, the people have to, within the same day, same time, they have to evacuate that place. So again, it impact their social well-being also, and directly it affects our environment. Now, here are a few of the names which we have come across and we know regarding it. So it can range from earthquake, flood, hurricanes, sinkhole, sudden, break in that, blizzard or typhoons, tsunamis, drought, thunderstorm. So here we can categorize, as we said, into two parts major. When we are saying natural, again, nature is responsible. Nature is the main reason why this particular event has happened. So as we know regarding earthquake, cyclone, tsunami, volcanic eruptions also, flood, again natural. Now man-made, again, road accidents, as we just had the word regarding Bhopal gas tragedy, which happened, right? Terrorist attack, and those are man-made disasters, right? Uh, Man-made, again, industrial accidents, chemical spill, explosions, fires, terrorist attacks, mass gathering, and stampedes. When we hear oil spillage, especially when we are talking into sea or something, it is degrading our nature, right? Transportation, environmental pollution. Classification of natural disaster can be done on the basis of geological disasters. Again, this is happened because of the earth process, right? That is the main reason. Volcanic, tsunami, and we hear landslides, right? Especially when we talk about Kedarnath and there, that particular region, Ambernath. So landslide are very uh, it is very much prevailing as such. So then we have meteorological climate conditions. We have typhoons, tornadoes, and heat waves again. Then we can again segregate on the basis of hydrological, on the basis of water. So flood, flash. Now again, there can be question. Following is not an example of hydrological disaster. So they may give flood, drought, and heat wave, or they may give tsunami as such, right? So in that particular say, make sure that the basic. Now again, if you can, whenever you are making notes, just write geological earth, meteorological atmosphere, hydro water, biological living organisms, sorry, space related. Now again, solar flares and something. So this is very basic. Make sure you know that again. So again, whenever we talk about people and environments, it's just a revision of what you already know. Okay. Similarly, when we talk about this earthquake risk levels, not very evidently, but in past, when I look after last 5 years question paper, there have few questions been asked regarding this, right? What, as we hear in news also, what was the magnitude of the earthquake that has happened, especially when we hear regarding Delhi most of the times, right? So in that particular region, so what is the magnitude of it? So which zone and how do we categorize? So low risk, we have 0.10, moderate 0.16, 0.24, and this. So here we have also, I have mentioned the various regions in which these kind of, again, high risk, we can see Northeast India. Lot many times we have heard adverse news regarding the same thing, parts of Bihar, Gujarat, when we talk upon, right? So those belt are most earthquake prone. So in that, just remember few of it, major magnitude and the zone, high risk, low risk, how we try to segregate that. Okay. Then we have drought. Drought, again, there is no globally adopted operational definition for drought, but according to Global Assessment Report 2015, agricultural drought is probably the most socially constructed of a disaster risk. UNISDR 2015, water deficit caused by variation in the natural meteorological factors, agroecological conditions, crop under prevailing, right? So here, again, water deficit in general, as we should remember here, is water deficit condition. We call it as drought, right? So a third of the country is drought prone. When we're talking upon impacts, depends on the natural conditions, socioeconomic factors, and again, effective mitigation measures here is turning the feminine due to water, food shortage can be there. Now here, as we have divided earthquake into 4-5 zone, like 2, 3, 4, 5. Similarly, here also we have meteorological drought, agricultural drought, hydrological and ecological drought, right? Shortage of water, natural ecosystem, if that is there. Hydrological, here we are talking upon in subsurface water surfaces. If we are seeing that deficiency, then we call it agricultural drought. We say when that soil moisture or the rain is not inadequate. So this is a very general term which we use. Meteorological, they say situation when there is 25% decrease in the long-term average of precipitation. Right. So drought be agricultural drought, seasonal drought, more than the standard deviation. Drought year, when we say 20% from more than, and severe drought deficient by 25 to 40%, then IMD describe this particular thing, right? Now, in the absence of ambiguous criteria, here we have said rainfall, temperature, groundwater level, the availability, and how we are utilizing that can be there, right? Similarly, we can divide it on the basis of extreme drought affected areas, especially when we talk about Rajasthan belt, right? 90 mm average annual rainfall. Then we have severe drought when we are talking about most part of Madhya Pradesh, eastern part of Maharashtra. So again, this is why general knowledge, there might be question framed in that, which are the regions which are mostly affected. So here they can give now somewhere when we are talking about state, Maharashtra, UP, Rajasthan, Northeast, again, so which area, which particular area wherein we are seeing that particular questions can be asked, right? Droughts have a cascading effect on various aspects such as crop failure, shortage of water, migration of human livestock, scarcity of water. Okay. Then after we have volcanic eruptions. I know it will go a little monotone because we already know about it, but I'll just walk you through it as quickly as possible. Okay. So here we are talking in volcanic eruption. We have a geological. Now here what happens is in people environment also remember the current of a recent 1 year, anything, any cyclone which has come, right? So in this particular general knowledge, just be updated, right? Which cyclone, anything, with related to nature, if that has happened, any treaty which has been signed. So be a little cautious regarding it before your exam also, any major event which has happened. So make sure you know regarding that current affair, right? Ash for hot and cold mixture of earthen material following through the slope of volcanic, either during or between the volcanic eruption. Then talking about tsunamis, again, it's a Japanese for harbor wave, right? Crest be 100 kilometers and more, displacement of the sea floor caused by earthquake, landslide, or volcanic activity, right? The waves could travel a bend triggering speed with exceeding 800 km per hour over very long distance. Then we say it. The earthquake and resulting tsunami in Indian Ocean was last seen in 26 December 2004 with devastating effects in Indian regions. Okay. Hereafter we have flood, right? Human settlement by the rise of water channels, biodegradable products, pollutants. We have sewage, right? Microbial actions and non-biodegradable, such because of plastic, glass, DDTs, and radioactive substances. Because of that, uh, it can again be a reason for it. Hereafter, we have landslides. So landslides includes all varieties of mass movements of hill slopes and can be defined as downward and upward movement of slope from composed of rock, soils, and artificial landslides. Again, the major region here, which you'll remember, landslide, you know the meaning of it. So just remember, whenever you are making notes, as I said, for drought, remember the basic region and the criterias, how they have divided severe, major, severe, how they have divided. Similarly, for landslide, the areas such as Himalayas, Northeast India, the Nilgiris, Eastern Ghats, and Western Ghats. 30% of the world's landslide occur in Himalaya. These are the basic things which you have to remember. So whenever you are making notes, make sure you include this bold highlighted points, right? Um, Okay, now for this, we have Natural Disaster Management Authority, which we call as NTMA. Also, remember the basic full forms abbreviation that may be asked, right? National Disaster Management Authority. So, how they work is they work for the awareness program, capacity building, landslide hazard, right? They try to get the data and make sure the proper monitoring and warning can be given to make sure that the effect, the consequences can be mitigated. Okay, now hereafter comes the major part where I want you to pay good attention, right? Do I have your attention, everyone? Are we good to go? Yes, no, maybe? Are we good to go? Okay, how do you all practice? How you all are studying? Can I get that? How do you all practice?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. How are you practicing whatever you all have studied? I guess you all have studied 2, 3 subjects so far. Yes. How many of you are giving this attempt for the very first time? Can you all reply in the chat box? Okay. One response I got. Who are attempting for the first time. And if it is second or third time, also you can mention. No worries. Okay. I got 2 responses. Others? Others? No response. Are you? Okay. Second attempt. Okay. Fine. Others, can I have your responses quickly before we move ahead for Kyoto Protocol? Second Arpita. Okay, fine. Second Namita. Fine. Good. So what have you all observed regarding, okay, so if you've already experienced, given it one time, where do you think, what is the most difficult part? Where are we lagging? Anyone can answer? Unmute and answer. Major difficulty? DI. Okay. DI, I'll take care.
For me, mathematical reasoning and data interpretation,
Okay.
logical reasoning.
Okay. Logical reasoning class has already happened, I believe, right?
Yes.
Okay. DI, I will try to break and as much as layman's language for you to. ICT. Okay. It's my humble request whenever you all are making notes and maximum people I can see they are giving their second attempt. Uh, you all have already walked down through the syllabus. You all know how the questions are framed. So my request to you is, as you all are attending the classes, many of you would be working also. Whenever you all have time, through UGC website, and there are a lot many applications also available online which provide previous year question papers. So what I did during my time when I qualified in 2019 December batch. So what I did was I used to solve papers. So whenever I'm confident regarding a part or say a subject, maybe teaching aptitude, you would be confident regarding that particular, or for someone ICT can be a strength. I'm very confident. So whatever you do is start attempting question. As many questions you will attempt, you will be very much clear that okay, this is something which I'm clear regarding. And as more questions you'll keep on attempting, you'll find the areas, okay, in Kaito protocol I've studied all this, but this was something which I was not knowing. See, in this 2 hour class also I cannot give everything, I cannot teach, right? So there might be, but as many questions you will be attempting, you will get an idea that how questions are framed, how they try to trick you up for that. Okay, so it's my humble request. If you don't want to study, you have studied for prolonged 2 hours, 3 hours, and it's becoming monotonous, don't waste time. Download one paper, question paper, and keep the answer key. Attempt it. And whenever you're attempting any question paper, irrespective what time it is, put a timer and do it. Even if you want to attempt 10 questions, I'm okay with it, but put a timer that each question you want to give 1 minute or less than that. So first of all, you need to make sure you are reading the question twice and then walking down through the options, and always solve question paper, previous year question paper. You get the psychology of the paper setter, right? Which type of question, which is, as I'm saying that, millennial development goals, and this is something which is a pattern I've observed. I maybe it's not 100% correct, but you'll get the pattern how they're asking. So if you have already attempting for second time or third time, you know the syllabus, you have studied, then only you have come to this level, right? So make sure solve as many questions, as many test series which are there, go for it, it's fine. But understand, because then only you will find that where are your loopholes, where you need to brush up more, because you already know. And these things which you have studied, if you come from teaching background and all, you know things, right? Paper one, paper two becomes scoring just because this is something which I've already studied through graduation and master. So it becomes a scoring part. Main thing which we get is caught up is in reasoning or DI or, in paper one. So get your strong points first, be very sharp regarding it. And then there you know it, because if I'm saying that people environment is my plus point, then I'll make sure out of 5, I need to get 5 correct, or at least 4 should be correct in that. Then I can't leave room for it, right? So study all these classes whichever is going, and it is provided in asynchronous form also, that is fine. But attempt questions, just download previous year questions and keep on attempting and get confident regarding what you're studying. Okay, shall we move ahead, everyone? Too much talking. Okay. Just you have studied till late night, 10 o'clock, you want to sleep. Before sleeping, solve one question paper, it's fine. And if you don't know, and whenever you are getting, if you can get a printout and keep a notebook handy. Okay, this was something. In people, you make sections. In people environment, here this was a question I did not knew. So next time, whenever you're reading notes, you have this notes of what you don't know also. And if 2 times, 3 times you're even reading it, it'll get into your head easily. Okay. Okay, moving ahead to Kaito protocol. Kaito protocol meetings at UNFCCC are called by COP, that is Conference of Parties. So Kaito was signed in third COP, Conference of Parties of UNFCCC in Kaito Japan in 1997. So wherever we are making this notes of year, we'll write Kaito Protocol 1997, and this protocol came into effect in 2005. So it was signed in 1997, but it came into action in 2005. There were 192 member countries. How many were there in Millennial Development Goals? If you remember, we have one number for those many UN member states.
191.
191. Beautiful. Great. Okay, now here in Kaito Protocol, we'll remember 192 member countries were the major polluting countries like US never signed the protocol, and Canada withdrew in 2015 as absent. Now, this is an international treaty which extends to 1992 United Nations Framework Convention of Climate Change that commits state parties to reduce greenhouse gas emissions. Now, the Kyoto Protocol is an international agreement which is linked to UN Framework Convention on Climate Change. So here what we are understanding through this slide, it was signed in 1992, came in force in 2005. There were 192 members. And again, Kyoto, we know it's a city in Japan. So this particular event happened in Japan, right? Apart from that, 192, we are talked upon greenhouse emissions. Just put asterisk wherever you are making notes. Greenhouse emissions, climate change were the major reasons what we have talked, right? 1997, India ratified a Kyoto Protocol in 2002. Kyoto Protocol came into force in February 2005, 192. Canada withdrew in 2012 and reducing greenhouse concentration, a level that would prevent dangerous anthropogenic interference with the climate change. The protocol is based on the principle of common but undifferentiated responsibility and binding limits on greenhouse gas emissions. The first commitment period of Kyoto ended in 2012, which started from 2008 to 2012, post to the second commitment period called the Doha Amendment to the Kyoto Protocol from 2013 to 2020. The Kyoto Protocol divides country into following groups. The first is Annexure 1, developed countries plus economies in transition. Second, Annexure 2, developed countries that provide financial assistance to EIT. And we have Annex B, compulsory target, both commitment periods, and non-annexure countries, non-binding target, low-income groups is there. So this is how Kyoto Protocol has classified or segmented the countries. Okay, now Annex 1 talks about developed countries, UK, US, Russia, etc., developed countries, and here we have seen. And then we have LDCs, which we call as least developed countries. So there is no binding targets. They have been given to reduce greenhouse effects. I hope so far it is clear, everyone. Kyoto Protocol, the basic is this slide, right? You have to understand when it was being there, greenhouse effect is there, and it came into picture in 2005, signed in 1997 in Kyoto, Japan. And this particular thing, okay, fine, remember it, how we are dividing developed, developing nations, and we have least developed nations also came into picture, but there was no binding targets which were being given to them. Okay. Next thing is very important, too much trend in right now is carbon credit. Can anyone tell me what is carbon credit in general? Carbon credit. Have you heard upon this word carbon credit? Yes, no, maybe it's fine. Have you heard upon this word? You can unmute and answer, or you can write it down. No. Okay. Okay. Have you heard about Vantara? Have you all heard about Vantara?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes,
Mm.
ma'am.
That is India's step towards carbon credit. We'll see how. Okay. Now, carbon credit. Now, if we are given a certain sum of our parents to spend things we need to buy, you can go and buy a dress, we can buy PlayStation, we can buy a few games and all. Similarly, when the countries are in quest towards development, they tend to overutilize the carbon credit assigned to them. That is, one carbon credit equals to 1 ton of carbon dioxide. Yes, it's like a certificate, right? Now, they can buy these credit from another country who haven't utilized their assigned amount of credit. In countries like India, greenhouse emissions is much below the target fixed by Kyoto Protocol, and so they are excluded from reduction of greenhouse effect. On the contrary, they can entitle to sell surplus credits to developed countries. Now, what is happening, how we have trade in stock market. Similarly, here we have carbon credit. Now, in Kyoto Protocol, it was being told that every country, what we are seeing here, every country has been given a target that you cannot go beyond this use. You can use this many carbon emission only, you can do, beyond that you cannot do. And if you are doing it, then you have to compensate. That is why, as I said, for Vantara is, again, you know that like currently India, we are in developing economic, developing country. There's a lot many infrastructure being going on. And now this is will become a very serious. Now carbon credit has come to picture, but it is not like entitled very heavily. Now how India would do it? So Vantara is entire this thing, you know, what people, the philanthropic, you know, it's a moment when we say about Reliance Foundation, that has been there. But again, it's a step towards carbon credit. A small country like Indonesia may not be developing at a pace and has spare credit. So these credit can then be traded. You can give me now everyone. If I'm saying that we are overutilizing carbon dioxide, 1 ton of carbon dioxide हम ज्यादा यूज कर रहे हैं, तो मैं दूसरी कंट्री जो नहीं यूज कर रही है, I can buy from them also. Am I clear, everyone? Are we clear regarding carbon credit? Yes, no, maybe. Shall I re-explain you? Yes? Okay. Okay, fine.
Yes, ma'am.
So the country in need buy them and the money is utilized in other developing activities in selling countries. So it's a win-win situation for both. A developing nation such as India turns out to be seller of such credits, which eventually provides them with monetary gains. Carbon credits are traded at various exchanges across the world. Now, how we have exchange, right? Similarly, we have multi-commodity exchange of India that launched future trading in carbon credit in 2009. Now this buying and selling is actually happening, right? So the system utilized, now here you can see joint implementation. Advanced country technology finance ke liye they have a emission project being there. So for that they can do the buying and selling of this carbon can be done. A permit that allows country or organization to produce a certain amount of carbon emissions, which can be traded if a full allowance is not used. Carbon footprints is the total set of greenhouse gases, the total emissions caused by an organization, event, or product, for simplicity of reporting. Now, there is a word called green audit. How much are you causing harm in the environment? You have to take the accountability of it. Because of which, you know, all these brands, when you hear Mama Earth giving every time you buy one Mama Earth product, you get this message that, you know, a tree has been planted. So that is nothing but they are talking about their carbon footprint, that okay, we are a sustainable brand, we care about the environment, we are building it. So what is the amount of carbon dioxide or its equivalent to other greenhouse effect that is being that can be controlled or emitted as such. The carbon credit create a market for reducing greenhouse emissions by giving a monetary value. So the carbon credit is measured in tons of carbon dioxide. So remember this, one credit equals to 1 ton of carbon dioxide. Each carbon credit represents 1 metric ton of CO2 either removed from the atmosphere or saved from being emitted. So either way, then only we can do buy. One is saving, another one is, that emission is being done. So that way we can create a balance. Sorry. So we have carbon cap trade program, carbon offsetting, assignment of upper threshold limit on the amount of pollutant can be emitted by a country, and permissible amount, emission permits are issued to emitter specific. The transfer of the just trade. So countries whose emissions are less than their assigned amount or the cap can sell the trade the excess amount, right? Offset credits for eco-friendly technologies are purchased by developed nations, right? The next important thing is International Solar Alliance. So the International Solar Alliance, shall we take some questions before we take, wait a minute. Okay, let's take some few questions before we take a small break. Otherwise, we'll go too much into the head right now. Okay, thermal power point. Okay, this was the last one which we had discussed. Okay, let's take some questions. 2-3 questions before we go on a small break. Otherwise, it will be too much for content for an hour. Okay, are you all ready, everyone? We'll start with few questions, 2-3 questions, and then we'll move ahead. I will be waiting for your answers at the chat box. Identify the correct sequence of energy sources in terms of their heat of combustion in increasing order. Methane, natural fats and oils, dry wood, green wood. Choose the correct answer from the options given below. Now here we have to find the correct sequence of energy sources. Heat of combustion in increasing order. Methane, natural fats and oil, dry wood, and green wood. Your options is A, C, B, D, D, C, B, A, D, B, C, A, D, C, A, B. Take your time. Read the question twice, as I said, and then answer. Try elimination technique also. Be careful, we are talking increasing, lowest to highest. Okay, we have 2, 2, 4, 4, and 2. Okay, I'm waiting for others to answer. Take your time, answer. Okay. We have 3. Okay, we have 2, 4, 3. Except one, we have all the answers. Okay. Which one you are very sure about? Anyone? You're very, very sure that this is definitely the answer. No, I want A, B, C, D, that way. Okay. The right answer is D, C, B, A. See, green wood, we have more of moisture, as the name is suggesting. Compared to dry wood, green wood would have. Now here you can clearly see three of them are having D as an option. So somewhere or the other, we can make out that D would be the correct. Now lesser than that, we can see then in next is dry wood. Again, that would be much more. The heat would be much more into it. Then D, C. Post to it, we have B, that is natural fats and oil. And last, we have methane. So there is a reduced, what do you say, hydrocarbon gases there. Because of it, we'll have this sequence. Okay. So the right answer is, to all the people who have answered second, that's the right answer. Okay, identify the correct sequence in increasing order of the carbon content per unit mass of the following reservoir of carbon in terrestrial environment. Right? Correct sequence in increasing order for the carbon content per unit mass. Plants, peat, soil, organic matter, and fossil fuels. Read the question twice, use your common sense, try to eliminate the options. Okay, I'm waiting for your answer in test box. Okay, answer 1 is given. Okay, others please answer. One, two, 1, 2, 2. Okay, the right answer here is 1. That is peat. Then we have plants and organic soil matter, and last is fossil fuels. So in increasing order, सबसे ज़्यादा carbon content किसमें होगा? So fossil fuel definitely would be on highest. So here we will use elimination technique 1 and 2. Right, and then next up we will have whether it will be soil organic matter or plants. So definitely the answer would be plants in here, right? Soil organic matter, then plants, and then we have peat. Okay, so hereafter we'll discuss from 7 o'clock. We'll take a small break for 5 minutes, just freshen up, come with just wash your face and come back. And hereafter we'll continue with more acts, right? And it is important topic, so I want you all to be little freshen up. So just take a small break. By 7 o'clock sharp we will be back. Shall we start? Are we back, everyone? Okay, okay. Okay, perfect. I hope you all are getting it. Anywhere you feel that this particular topic needs to be repeated, please feel free. Just drop a message. I've kept the message thing also in front of me, so no worries. I can see immediately your responses. So in case you want to elaborate or tell you repeat that particular topic, don't hesitate. Just let me know. Okay. I'm trying to break it down as in simple words as possible. Okay, and now hereafter, so far we had talked regarding the pollution and various types of pollution. Then we have talked upon disaster. Then we had talked upon Kyoto Protocol, carbon trading. And the next important topic here in people environment here we have is International Solar Alliance, right? Now here also we'll remember the date for the same thing, right? And the various act with respect to the same. So the International Solar Alliance, which we call as ISA, is an action-oriented, member-driven, collaborative platform for increased deployment of solar energy technologies. In basic motive is to facilitate energy access, ensure energy security, and drive energy transition in its member countries. ISA was conceived as a joint effort by India and France to mobilize efforts against climate change through deployment of solar energy solution. It was presented by the leaders of two countries at the 21st Conference of Parties, COP21, to United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change held in Paris in 2015. So International Solar Alliance, we will remember the year 2015. When was Kyoto Protocol came into picture? Kyoto Protocol.
1997.
And when it was enforced, came into action?
2005.
2005, yes. So we will remember 2005 therein, and here International Solar Alliance 2015. ISA is a coalition of solar resource rich countries lying fully and partially between the Tropic of Cancer and the Tropic of Capricorn to specially address energy needs by harnessing solar energy. The Paris Declaration establishes ISA as an alliance dedicated to the promotion of solar energy to its member countries, brings together aggregate global demand, reducing price through bulk purchases, and deployment of existing solar energy scale, promotes collaboratively solar and R&D, research and development capacity building. PM Modi 10-point action plan to promote solar power from 2015. So ensuring the cheap and improved solar energy in easily available, increasing the percentage of solar energy in countries India energy matrix mix, encouraging innovation for development of solution and problems, ensuring concessional and risk-free funding of solar project, developing regulatory aspect and norms to speed up the solar energy, consultancy support, bankable solar project in developing countries, which we have in India also, right? Ensuring efforts to propagate solar revolution, ensuring create network for centers. Policies are seen in context of sustainable development goal. ISA segregate a strong professional body. So we have here if CREDA department, CREDA as a department is there, which is looking towards the solar. So now it has been made accessible, the funds, the subsidies being given through it. International Solar Alliance, the vision was let us together make the sun brighter. The mission was every home, no matter how far, will have a light at home. The headquarters, India and France jointly laid. So here in India, we have it at Interim Secretariat, we have at Gurugram. Now, there we have seen 191 Member countries 192. Here we have 106 countries have signed ISA framework, out of which 86 have signed and ratified for ISA. All member states of United Nations are eligible to join ISA. Observer status, here we have United Nations General Assembly has been granted in well cooperation, right? The objective is cost-effective, transformative solar energy, low carbon growth trajectories, and on delivering impact on countries categorized as least developed countries. So this was a terminology, again, we have studied in previous also. And sorry, small island developing state. Now, the major objective here includes the global deployment of 1,000 gigawatts of solar generation. Now, with respect to ISA, please remember this number, 1,000 gigahertz of solar energy generation, mobilization of investment over $1,000 billion into solar energy by 2030. Now, this will again align. Here also it was being mentioned as part of sustainable development growth. As you can see here, sustainable development, last second point on my right-hand side. Ensuring solar energy policies are seen in context of development that will help in achieving sustainable development goals. So here also we are seeing same thing. By 2030, they have given the target that we will be having total 1,000 gigawatts of solar energy, and we will be having a mobilization of investment over 1,000 billion US dollars. ISA envisions to enable the full ecosystem for availability and development of technology, economic resources and development and storage, as well as manufacturing and innovation in the same. The four priority areas in the programs are to create a favorable environment, solar energy investment, in analytics and advocacy, capacity building, pragmatic support, readiness, and enabling activities. Now, in this context, what has India done? What are the various initiatives which our government in India has been done? First is the first green hydrogen mobility project by National Thermal Power Corporation Limited, that is NTPC Renewable Limited, sign an MOU with Union Territory of Ladakh to set up the India's first green hydrogen mobility project. The green hydrogen is produced by electrolysis of water using the renewable energy like solar, wind, and lower carbon footprint. So again, carbon footprint, carbon credit, we have already studied in last few slides. So again, if you see, all these are connected as such. Then we have National Solar Mission. Now, these are the initiative altogether which our government has taken. It is a part of National Plan on Climate Change. It was established in India as a global leader in solar energy by creating the policy conditions for its diffusion across the country as quickly as possible. 100 gigawatts grid-connected solar plants by the year 2022. In line with this, India's intended national determined contribution to achieve 40% of the cumulative electronic power, right, to reduce the emissions of its GDP by 33 to 35% from 2000 level to 2030. So all these targets, if we keep on seeing, all is being inclined with sustainable development goal of 2030 agenda. National Solar Mission 90 NSM, again, this was launched in 2010. So if we talk upon International Solar Alliance 2015, right? Here, when we are talking upon National Solar Mission, here we had January 2010, with the objective of establishing India as a global leader in solar energy by creating the policy conditions for solar technology diffusion across the countries as quickly as possible. The initial target of NSM was to install 20 gigawatts of solar power by 2022. This has now upscaled to 100 gigawatts in early 2015, right? Numerous facilitated programs and scheme under the mission has driven the grid connected solar power. An additional 58.31 gigawatt solar capacity under installation and tendering project, right? So they have phase one, which came from 2012-13, then phase two is over, and phase three 17-22. I hope this is clear. International Solar Alliance, everyone. Shall we move ahead with solar energy, clean energy, green energy? I hope it is clear, everyone. Yes? Okay. Just remember these year, when it was done, how many countries have signed together, right? And what are the basic initiatives? The next important, when we talk about environment, we have Environment Protection Act, right? The Environment Protection Act was enacted in 1986. Again, one more year, you write it down in your year page, with the objective of providing the protection and improvement of the environment. It empowers the central government to establish authorities charged with the mandate of preventing environmental pollution in all of its form, and to tackle specific environmental problems that are peculiar to different parts of the country. One of the most comprehensive legislations with the pretext to protection and improvement of the environment. The roots of enactment lies in UN Conference of Human Environment at Stockholm in June 1972, in which India participated to take appropriate steps for the improvement of human environment, right? So Scotland conference will remember in Environmental Protection Act, and year is 1986. Under the Article 253 of the Constitution, which empowers the state to enact laws to give effect of international agreements signed by the country, is to implement the decisions of UN Conference, protection and improvement of and prevention of hazards to human being, living plants. This. So it was enacted in 1986 on the backdrop of Bhopal gas tragedy. The act was last amended in 1991 and 2022. What is amendment in laws? Anyone can help me? Laws may, when we hear this word called amendment. What is amendment?
Changes.
Yes, perfect.
Yes.
Changes, right? Now imagine this Environmental Protection Act 1986. The condition of our environment at 1986 and 2025 is totally different, right? So here the government every here and now they have to keep bringing changes. So again, the act was being made at that particular time, but amendments are nothing but small changes which are being there in article, sub-article. Again, currently we are having cyber security. So if we talk about bank logs, yes, Eva, upgradation, right? So time and again, government needs to change. So that is amendment. So 1991 and 2022, there were major amendments being done in Environmental Protection Act. The EPA was enacted under Article 253 of the Indian Constitution. So whenever you are writing it, in notes, just mention 253. Enactment of legislation for giving effect to international agreement, wherein Article 48A talks upon the Constitution specify the state shall endeavor to protect and improve the environment to safeguard the forest and wildlife. Article 51A further provides every citizen shall protect the environment. Coverage, the act has whole of India, including the state of Jammu and Kashmir, right? So just remember Article 253, the sub-article you don't need to remember as such. The act in Environmental Protection Act act as an umbrella legislation that provides a framework for all the environment regulation regime in India. All major industrial and infrastructure activities, coordination of all these activities of various central state government, right? So here it is a main umbrella act, the main act when we say, and other related such as Water Act, Air Act, वो उनके subdivisions हैं, right? But major we say is Environmental Protection Act. Okay, the next important topic is Paris Agreement. So again, From this Paris Agreement, there is usually one question. So make sure you know what is Paris Agreement. Okay. Now, key points of Paris Agreement. 196 signatories were there, with will have effect on 2020. So the agreement aims to keep the global temperature rise the century below 2 degrees Celsius above the pre-industrial levels and pursue efforts to limit the rise to 1.5 degrees Celsius, right? Now, 2050 emissions is there. Parties aim to reduce a global peak of greenhouse emissions as soon as possible and to achieve zero net emissions in the second half of the century, that is 2050. Financing the agreement affirms the obligation of developed countries to maintain $100 billion per year funding pledge from 2020, with the amount to be upgraded by 2025, right? In 2018, when we say parties have to take the first assessment of their effort, so as we said, green audit. So similarly for Paris Agreement also, we have audit to their efforts to cut emissions in 2015 with further reviews every 5 years. First world review would be at 2023, right? So here, if you look into it, so Paris Agreement is an international treaty adopted in 2015, right? So we will remember, what was the year of International Solar Alliance? International Solar Alliance. Write in chat box which year. Just now we discussed 2010. Okay. Others? 2015. Yes, 2015 is the right answer. Okay. So Solar, International Solar Alliance and Paris Agreement, same time you'll remember. That aims to limit global warming level to 2 degrees Celsius, preferably to 1.5. It achieves through commitment nearly every nation to cut their greenhouse emissions through national determined contribution and adapt their impact of climate change. Countries to set their own emission reduction goal and report their progress with the goal of increasing emission over time, right? Now here you can see timeline and objectives of 2015 Paris Agreement. 2015, December 12, the Paris Agreement text to keep global temperature rise the century below 2 degrees Celsius above pre-industrial level, approved by 195 countries. Okay, we'll remember 195 countries. In 2016, September 3, top emission countries for China, US agree to ratify the Paris Accord. On November 4, Paris Agreement enters into force with sufficient number of countries that ratify the deal. 2017, June 1, President Donald Trump announces US is withdrawing from the Paris Accord. Trump administration officially notifies UN and to pull out from 2015 Paris Agreement Pact. 2018, we have signatories make the first voluntary assessment of their efforts. 2020, developed countries provide fund to help developing country shift to cleaner energy sources. As we talked upon solar energy, or when we are talking about ethanol and all coming into picture, this is all part of Paris Agreement. 2023, signatories make first public report for their progress, and 2025 signatories set more tougher goals for cutting down emission. So this is when we talk in a nutshell, right? So what is happening in Paris Agreement from 2015 to 2025? So what are the major things which you will remember when it comes to Paris Agreement? Year, which year it is? Paris Agreement, which year? You can write in chat box or answer. Yes, which year? 2015. What else you will remember?
International Solar Alliance.
Yes, you will remember 2 degrees Celsius of global temperature. And then after that, we will remember that 195 countries, that time in 2015 agreement, these uh, people agreed. And even overall, when we are talking about greenhouse emissions, that should be reduced. That is the main focus of Paris Agreement. Okay. Precursor of Paris Agreement, we had Lima Climate Change Conference 2014. The overall objective of the summit was to limit the global temperature increase by 2030 to 2 degrees Celsius. And the agreement wanted parties to take up naturally determined targets later. The summit ended with no substantial, so no agreement was reached in Lima. So this is predecessor. Before that, what happened? All agreements and decisions were reserved for Paris Summit 2025. Binding and universal agreement. The prior to conference, 146 national climate panels publicly presented draft national climate contribution. However, no detailed timetable was being said, right? Sorry. Okay. So it followed the bottom-up approach for the first time. And see, as I said, greenhouse effect 2 degrees Celsius 2015. So with terms with Paris Agreement, we will remember that, right? Each country will determine, plan, and regularly report to their contribution, how they are undertaking to mitigate and reduce global warming at a larger perspective, right? Enhancing the implementation, holding the increase of global average temperature to well below 2 degrees Celsius, foster climate resilience, manner in that does not threaten the food production, finance flows. Okay. So in 2019, United Nations Climate Change Conference that we call as COP 2025, 25th National United Nations Climate Change Conference. Now, this was the word which we have come across from Kyoto Protocol also. Whenever we are talking about environment, it has been there, right? So the aim here was to completion of rule book of 2015 Paris Agreement that will become effective from 2020. So this will replace previously which we had Kyoto Protocol and will end in 2022. So these are basic fundamentals of it, which we have already discussed. The summit will also discuss functioning of international emission trading, which we have studied as trade credit, right? Carbon trade credit, that compensation of poor countries to dealing with rising sea levels and other consequences of climate change. And for that respect, which we said, annual emission gap report, which they have to submit, talking about how much is the emission being done and how they have what are the steps or programs which they have done in order to mitigate the global warming. India's agenda, so unlikely to announce for enhanced target during the summit. India's current efforts are already much more compared to even the developed nation. So India retaliated stand as common but differentiated responsibilities. And carbon market, we have already discussed carbon credit, emission reduction, how we can do it. Right. Okay. So by this, we wind up the syllabus. We'll take few questions. Any doubts so far which you want to ask with respect to this before we move to the questions? Any doubt, anyone? You want to ask any doubt before we move to some practice questions? Anyone? Are you all able to understand people, environment, the syllabus? What do they ask? How do they ask? Yes. I hope I was able to make you understand in simple language, right? And the area, which all questions and how they would be framed. So make sure you're all confident. It's a scoring subject, so be confident. Don't. There might be one question from general knowledge in terms of this environment, but other than that, it's a scoring subject, and I can bet you'll get good marks. You'll have been attentive and amazing students, so don't worry, we'll get good marks in that, right? But just make sure until, when is the exam? Are the dates announced? The dates announced for December batch? Do we have the dates? I'll
No,
check
they'll be after 31st of December, I think.
after New Year. Okay. Okay, no worries. Fine. Take your time. We have 1 month there. I guess this classes would be ending in first week of December, so you have time. But at the same time, 31st December to 7th January. Okay, tentatively that time. So you have sufficient time. Just make it. Don't compromise on it. Before you sleep, make sure you're solving one paper. You're solving 10 questions. Whatever is, you know your threshold better. So make sure you'll solve, because as many questions you will solve, that much confident you will be, right? Uh, okay. At present, now please look up to the questions. These are the PPTs in asynchronous manner also, which you will be getting. See, in a nutshell, I've tried to cover up the entire syllabus. So you can visit and you can go through this classes also. Okay. Done. So at present in India, please look up to the questions and answer. Take your time, answer, read the question twice, read between the lines, and then answer carefully. At present in India, the total installed renewable power capacity is accounted for by solar power, wind power, hydropower, urban and industrial waste to energy conversion, biomass power, geothermal power. Total installed renewable power capacity is accounted for. Okay, Arpita has said 4. Others, take your time, think, and answer. Okay, I'm waiting for your answers. Total installed renewable power energy. Okay. We have 4, 4, 2, 3, 4, 3, 3, 2. Okay. So which option are you very sure that that is definitely there? Which option, like A, B, C, D, in that manner? C. Hydropower, yes. Solar power, we have been speaking so long for solar power. So A and C. So we'll find A, C, that is definitely there, right? When we talk upon wind power also, so somewhere we are almost second largest in this, in wind power also. If you go to this Gujarat Kutch belt, we'll find lot many of it, right? So Solar power, wind power, hydropower, urban and industrial waste and energy conservation, we definitely score there, right? And we have biomass power. The least which we are doing in it, but current capacity is very small, is geothermal power. So here the answer is option number 3. Option number 3, whoever has answered, right? So that is the correct answer. A, B, C, D, E, right? The potential of geothermal power in India is approximately the potential of geothermal power is approximately 10 gigawatts, 5, 20, and 25. Take your point. Think in the context last what we have discussed. Okay, we have 3, 1, 1, 1. Okay, 10 gigawatts, 1. Right, correct. Very good. The right answer is 10 gigawatts. Estimated we have 10,000 megawatts. So if we convert that, we'll get 10 gigawatts. Okay. Which of these pair are correctly matched? Which of these pairs are correctly matched? Minamata Convention, Mercury, Scotland Convention, persistent organic pollutants, Basel Convention, lead. 1 and 2 only, 1 and 3 only, 2 and 3. 1, 2, 3. Take your time, think, answer. Hmm. Okay. We have D, B, A, and first. Okay. The correct answer is 1, right? So Minamata, again, when we talk upon Minamata Convention was a global treaty that was being signed in 2013. And when we talk about Scotland Convention, it was signed in 2021. Again, it talked upon organic pollutants. If you want to write, Basel Convention focused on basically hazardous objects, right? Hazardous waste which is deemed there, right? So it's not with respect to only lead but other hazardous elements also. So here answer 1 and 2, that is the first option, is right. Okay. With the reference to oil spills, consider the following statement. They make the water deficient in oxygen. They can cause algal blooms. I repeat, with respect to the oil spills, consider the following statements. 1 only, 2 only, both 1 and 2, neither 1 nor 2. Just think. Oil spillage. Okay, we have C, 1A, B. Okay. Others, please answer. The option is again water deficient or oxygen, but always there's no bloom in algae as such. Okay, so your answer here is option number 1. Algae blooms can be there, but it's not a major with reference to that. Okay. International Drinking Water Supply and Sanitation Decade was observed between 1991 to 2000, 1981 to 1990, 1971 to 1980, 1965 to 1975. Okay. I'll just give the answer for it. Again, we have not discussed as such, but remember, wherever you're making notes, mention 1981 to 1990, the International Drinking Water Decade. You can mention International Drinking Water Decade or International Decade of Water, International Drinking Water Sanitation Period, 1981 to 1990. Whenever you're making notes, please mention this. Okay. The major process involved in carbon cycle are deposition and erosion, evaporation and transpiration, photosynthesis and respiration, fixation and denitrification. Take your time, think. Carbon cycle. Major processes involved in carbon cycle. C. Correct. The right answer is photosynthesis and respiration, right? So by the use of photosynthesis, carbon is again removed from the atmosphere, and as we breathe, right? So carbon is released back into the atmosphere. So photosynthesis and respiration. Occurrence of natural hazard is affected by, I repeat, occurrence of natural hazards is affected by land use changes, drainage and construction, ozone depletion, climate change. Read the question twice and then read the options. Read the question and answer. Okay, we have the answer as A, 3, 1. Okay, 1 and 3. Okay, 1, 3. Which one are you very sure? Which option? A, B, C, D? Which are you very, very sure that, that is definitely there? So we can think of elimination. Which one you are very sure? D, option D, climate change. Yes. The correct answer is option number C. That is A, B, and D, right? Climate change, definitely, we are very sure. So 3 option has D. That is 1, 3, and 4. Next, I'm very sure is drainage and construction or land use changes, which we can see landslides and everything. So next is land use changes. Ozone depletion, I'm not really sure for it. So again, we can go with elimination, A, B, and D. Very good, right? Among the following fuels of the energy, which is the most environment friendly? Quick, we'll go little quick as we have lesser time left. I want more questions to be discussed. Among the following fuels of the energy, ethanol, biogas, CNG, hydrogen. Okay, we are having four coming. Others, please respond. 4. Okay. Right answer is hydrogen, right? So whenever we say ethanol, basically it is reducing it is releasing CO2. When we are talking about biogas, we have methane that comes out. Same goes for CNG also. But hydrogen, again, the reaction gives only water. So the cleaner energy here is hydrogen. Good. Assertion given, sustainable development is critical to well-being of human society. I repeat, assertion says sustainable development is critical to well-being of human society. Reasoning they have given is environmentally sound policies do not harm the environment or deplete the natural resources. You have your options on the screen. Sustainable development is critical to well-being of human society. Environmentally sound policies do not harm the environment or deplete the natural resources. Quick, this is easy. Quick answer. Okay. 1 1 1 1 1. I guess here it can be, it is the right explanation also. Okay, I guess 1 is right here. Which of the following is not a water-borne disease? Which of these is this is little, I'll check for this answer one more time. Like partially right, I'm thinking for it. Okay, let's leave this one. Let's focus on this one. Okay, 2. Which of the following is not a water-borne disease? We have 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. I'm sorry. Okay, we can use. Okay, we am finding maximum 4 as an answer. So dengue, how is dengue caused? Because of mosquito, right? Cholera, hepatitis, typhoid is basically waterborne disease. Okay, so the right answer is option number 4. Which of the following is the largest source of water pollution in major rivers of India? Untreated sewage, agriculture runoff, unregulated small scale industry, religious practices. I repeat, which of the following is the largest source of water pollution in major rivers in India? Okay, we have 3 and 1, 3 and 1. 1 coming up, 1. The correct answer is answer number 1, that is untreated sewage. Unregulated small scale industry is there, but the largest source here is untreated sewage. Okay, sustainable development goals have a specific target to be achieved by. Sustainable development goals have a specific target to be achieved by. I would not take a wrong answer in this question. Okay, 2030. Beautiful. Next, assertion says, good, very good. Assertion says, conserving our soil resources is critical to human survival. Reasoning says, soil is home to many microorganisms and contains minerals. Assertion and reasoning. Okay. 2, 2, 1, 1, 1, 2. The right answer is option number 2. Both A and R are correct. Now, individually, if you see, both are correct. Conserving our soil resources, definitely it is there. Soil is home for many microorganisms and contains mineral. That is also true. But this conversation and this, the explanation does not matches. So here the option 2 is right. Okay, next up, you can see on the screen, the problems of environment sustainability are difficult to resolve. Assertion, and reasoning says, our understanding how environment works and how different human choices affect environment is inadequate. I repeat, the problems of environment sustainability is difficult to resolve. Our understanding how environment work and how different human choices are inadequate. Okay, we have options floating. 1, 1, 1, 1. Correct answer is answer number 1. Good, everyone. Right? A and R are correct, and R is the correct explanation. Which of the following which of the anthropogenic activity which we human do, right? Human activity counts for more than 2/3 of the global water consumption. सबसे ज़्यादा 2/3 of global water consumption, where it is being done? Agriculture, hydropower generation, industry, domestic and municipal use. Maximum water consumption, where it is being done. I can see A1. Beautiful. Right answer is agriculture. One of the anthropologic sources of gaseous pollutants, chlorofluorocarbons, CFC, in air is in anthropologic, again, human beings, what we do. Human sources of gaseous pollutants of chlorofluoro, CFCs in the air is cement industry, fertilizers, foam, pesticide. Very good. Right. Correct answer is foam. Which of the following is not a renewable and natural resource? Clean air, fresh water, fertile soil, salt. Read the question twice. Which of the following is not a renewable energy resource? I can see C coming up. Renewable natural resource. Focus on natural resource also. C and D. D. Yes, correct answer is answer number D. Soil is a natural resource only, no? Okay. The National Disaster Management Authority, NDMA, functions under the Union Ministry of Environment, Water Resource, Home Affairs, Defense. National Disaster Management Authority. Home Affairs, very good. Good. The maximum emissions of pollutant from fuel sources in India is caused by maximum emissions of pollutant from fuel sources in India is caused by coal, firewood, refuse burning, vegetable waste product. Refuse burning, a coal, okay. Okay, the correct answer is coal. सबसे ज़्यादा fuel resource which cause pollutants is coal. Okay. Frequent episodes of dense smog in winter season in National Capital Region, that is NCR, can be attributed to smog, जिसको हम बोल रहे थे, we were discussing smog, stubble burning, biomass burning in rural household, transport, transboundary movement pollutants. Choose the correct answer. Smog in NCR. Why? What's the reason? A. Okay. Option number 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. All options are correct. Major leading is transboundary movement of pollutants, transport also, biomass, and subtle burning. All the reasons. Question number 4. Municipal solid waste comprises of. We have studied that table. Remember that waste table. Household waste, sanitation residue, waste from street, construction and demolition debris. Sorry. I repeat, municipal solid waste comprises of 4. Okay, others please answer quickly. How? Okay. Correct answer is question number 4, construction and demolition debris, waste from street, sanitation. Good. Next, fly ash. Fly ash produced in a thermal power plant is an eco-friendly residue for use in fly ash. Where do we use? Agriculture as micronutrient, wasteland development, brick factory, dam and water holding structure. Fly ash. 4 A B C D. Okay. Yes, correct answer is fourth, A, B, C, D. Okay. Which of the following types of natural disaster has no definite beginning? I repeat, which of the following natural disaster has no definite beginning and end? Earthquake, landslide, hurricanes, drought. There is no definite beginning and end. For drought. Okay. Others, 1, 2. Earthquake, there is no beginning and no end. Think. Take time, think. It's a simple question. You have seen earthquake, you have seen landslide, you know regarding hurricanes, and you know about drought. Correct answer is drought. Droughts may we cannot say, again, when we have studied regarding drought, one thing we have said that we don't know how would you categorize drought in land and drought in sea and drought in agricultural land. Everything it has a different definition. Okay, so there is no definite and no beginning and end for it. Okay, the last one we'll take before winding up. Indoor air pollution is a serious health hazard. Indoor air pollution is a serious health hazard. The dispersal of air pollutant is rather limited in indoor environment. The dispersal of air pollutant is rather limited in indoor environment. Quickly start answering. Okay, we have 1, 4, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. Correct answer is answer number 1. Good. A and R are true, and R is the correct explanation. Okay. So by this, it's 8 o'clock. We will wind up the session. Okay. Y'all have any doubt, you can let me know, right? I hope it would be helpful for you to study, right? And tomorrow also we will be continuing with the higher education class, right? So again, I will try to make sure to break it down as simple language for you to understand. My simple request is please keep a notebook handy with you. So in case if I'm saying anything is important, or make sure you remember this, so you can highlight or you can write it. So whenever you are studying in a descriptive manner, you can more focus on that. Okay. So thank you everyone. Good night. Take care. And tomorrow 6 o'clock sharp, we will be starting with higher education.